He has a dual diagnosis, so he has schizophrenia, but he also has some problems with alcohol. And sometimes that's got out of hand, and that can take some getting back on top of and getting in control again. And those are times when we've got in touch with Join and got Leo to come back and just kind of touch bases with them about what's important. You don't want to end up out on the street again. Your family doesn't want it to go that way. And this alcohol is a problem that you know, must get control of. And so we've utilized your help in those situations, and those bumps in the road and those backslides. So once he was in housing and with us, it's like you guys work on keeping him there. You help iron out some of those spots.
When he came in the door, he said, "Is Dito dead?" His grandfather, it's Russian for Dadushka. And I said, yeah, he's in the basement smoking his pipe.
He's alive.
He's alive. And he ran down that basement and said, Dito. And my father, I could hear him drop his pipe and just run to him. Going to lots of seminars from National Alliance for the Mentally Ill, I had got to know a doctor, a psychiatrist who was up on all the meds, and so when you go to the family program, you learn everything about all the meds, and you know what meds and their side effects are, and what are the newer meds, and what meds you never want them to take, and you kind of know what's just right. And so I started questioning this doctor about a newer med, and he was like, well, I'm not familiar with that med. And it was like, well, it's out there. And so we started having a conversation about meds, and I told him my situation, and I got his card, and when I came home, I asked the doctor to please, would he come to my home and see my son, because I couldn't get him out of the corner of the basement where he smoked. There wasn't the trust back in our relationship to go to a doctor's office, let alone to get on an elevator and go up to the 8th floor with us. And so this doctor came to my home, and he came every week. And he went down to the basement, and he spent time with my son, and after about the 6th week, he said, I can't take your money anymore. I don't think we're really making any progress. And when he told me that, I just felt like somebody stabbed me in my heart. I couldn't believe that was happening. And as he went to leave, I said, listen, if you come back next week, I'll pay you twice as much. And he said, you don't have to do that. I'll be back next week. So he came back next week, and this time he brought 2 milligrams of Zyprexa, which is a med that I was on board for him to take. And he trusted him and took this 2 milligrams. And I'm telling you, the next day, there was a difference in him. There was a little bit of clarity that I hadn't seen before. And he was holding himself differently, because the mind and the body are one. And it was amazing. And then he continued on that a while, and then it upped, and now he's on 20 milligrams.
And I think we feel blessed.
And this doctor continued to see him for 2 years in our home. And now he goes downtown, up, on the elevator. Up,
takes the bus.
Goes
up the elevator, and does a great job.
And he's more autonomous now. And
they have a relationship.
Oh,
yeah. We downsized, and we bought a little house for us. It really was a fixer-upper, but the reason we bought it and went through all that is that in the backyard is a pretty much brand new, like 2-year-old mother-in-law cottage. A little cottage with a loft, and it's a kitchenette and washer, dryer, and everything. So, he's close, but he has his own space, and he's independent, but if things get a little weird, we kind of got an eye on it to see how things are going.
First
Yeah.
time that he
That's
got on an airplane in
since he
about
was 17.
17.
Since he was 17, he had not. We're from Maryland, and he has a big family back there that loves him. But for him to get into a crowded aluminum tube and sit in those tight seats, especially as a smoker now taking these nicotine things as he goes, it was a miracle. I mean, it was a wonderful change. He went back there. They loved him. He was the prodigal son returned. And he was just, people would line up to talk to him, and he would hold conversations, involved, and it was just wonderful. And it was a real watershed. And that just happened about 6 weeks ago.
All I can say to those families out there who have people who they loved or love is call National Alliance for the Mentally Ill and join with all the other people that are in the same boat. Get in the boat.
And I would say for people that are on the street, if you know people that are on the street, getting them off the street, getting them into shelter, getting them connected with organizations and agencies, Join does that. And they were wonderful for our son, and I can't say how important they were to us, and they do wonderful work.
And I just had always hoped and I prayed that whoever came into contact with my son would treat him with kindness, because he's a really kind person. And whoever we see that's on the street, treat him with kindness.